Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Decisions Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host for today, Gregory Goldston, on this Monday, September 15th. And let's go over the stuff on the right first before we get into your questions. So top right, we have our Decisions Training YouTube channel. Highly recommend checking that out for the new videos that we post there. You're going to see some new features that are covered in the platform, as well as how to use some existing ones, such as the work with Excel steps, how to handle file data in the most appropriate way, depending on your use, and a whole bunch of other stuff. So highly recommend checking that out to get some information on how to use decisions effectively. Below that, we have the Decision Solutions Marketplace, which is going to have pre-built accelerators for you to import into your environment. These accelerators are going to be projects that accomplish a specific purpose, and you can either take parts from them, utilize them in your own build, reverse engineer them if you want to understand how they work, or whatever you want to do with them, because they're free to download, free to import, and you can use them however you wish. So we've got some cool stuff there. We've got some AI features ones, such as the AI Fuzzy Finder, and some non-AI featured ones, such as the Loan Origination app. So we have a lot of different options there. And the last thing I'm going to cover below that is the Decisions Product Roadmap Review. This is a series of events that you can sign up for at decisions.com/events that will allow you to preview what is coming down the pipeline for newer versions of our product. So highly recommend checking that out if you want to see some of the new features that are going to get implemented. So with all that being said, I think it's time to move over to our decisions environment now. So give me a moment while I transfer our screen over. We had a pre-submitted question, so we'll address that one first, and then we'll get to everyone else's. So let me navigate. Yeah, there's where I want to go. All right, getting my Q&A up, getting my participants up. Once I've got this, I can answer your questions. So give me just a moment, everyone. Okay, so our pre-submitted question was from Marvin, and it seemed like it was a general ask on how to utilize the string builder steps in Decisions version 9. Is that correct in how I'm assuming that's what that question was about?
Yes and no. I'm just trying to build some HTML data,
Mm-hmm.
and the string builder didn't seem to be pulling in data from the flow structure.
Mm.
It just, the output didn't seem to be working correctly. That's why I sent the screenshots to say, hey, am I doing something wrong or whatever? Maybe if you want to go over string builder and the append HTML line thing. Yeah.
Absolutely. So let me go over a little bit what I'm doing here so you can everyone else can get caught up. So we are utilizing the string builder, and we start by using the create string builder step, or by utilizing, it's under data, text, string builder, the create string builder file based step. Either one of these will be able to give you some string builder data that you can start working with and moving along your flow here. So I've created some basic data over here. I created two random pieces of information, and this assume HTML I used to change the output of this particular create string builder, which is going to force it to assume that it is running in HTML.
All
Because
right.
if I debug this,
There's my first question. How do you turn that on? Because I couldn't find the setting to do that. Or maybe I
um,
was just
I
blind and didn't see it.
To
I kind
turn
of
it
hard
on.
forced it in all honesty. I created a Boolean
Okay.
data. I said the value is true. And then what I did is I used the change value output to drop down and alter this particular value.
Mm, I think that's
Now,
right over my head.
in Marvin, I know. I'm looking at your screenshots. Um, you're trying to write the like you're not writing HTML. You're just utilizing
Yeah.
the merge
Yes.
HTML editor and doing it that way.
Yes.
That I think that's the problem.
Okay.
Um,
I
what
mean,
you would
go ahead.
I was gonna say, let me. I want to. I want to. Trying to pull up a video. It's like in one of my old YouTube channels where I did something where I utilized the um, string builder. It is in version 8, but it's the same
That's
process.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll talk to it. Where is this thing? Oh, that's right. That's the wrong one. It was generic documentation. Because what you'll see in that one is you actually have to write the HTML. So if you're trying to do a table, you don't do table. You would do like you know, arrow left, table, arrow right, and then you would build your table TR, you know,
I guess I
thing.
was trying to use the merged HTML and the create data, each of the merged text, and I thought that might do it for me, but I guess not. I mean,
Yeah,
I can do the HTML, that's not a problem, but I was hoping not to have to go that extensive.
yeah. Well, I think that's how, unless Gregory, with this example, are you able to if you type in like your two HTML text, if you do yeah, Gregory, could you go to your two HTML text out of the debugger
Yeah, absolutely.
and then left click to HTML? Yeah, perfect. Instead of let's see, string builder, can you go to where do you go to the append HTML line or something?
Absolutely.
Or actually do no, this is what we got to do. We have to um let's see, because this is you're appending that line, but that's just appending a line.
Correct.
Now, what does line mean?
Like a new, like you know how like you type on Notepad and you press enter, that's a new line. You press
Okay,
enter again, that's a new line.
but
So it's just break
but
tags. That's all it is in HTML.
so
So Gregory, close this and add a create data step
Yep.
in between your two HTML text one and before. Sure, that works. And then yeah, just say this is the HTML text. And then use merge HTML or merge HTML and then just create a table, have name DOB, and then just put some data in it.
You got it.
well, see, herein lies the problem. Some of my rows of information are conditional, which is why I was trying to conditionally add lines of information. In other words, I might have a situation where one address may only have street one, but another address may have street one, two, three, and four.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be able to dynamically exclude two, three, and four if they weren't applicable. Which, throw the if statements in there and all that stuff.
Sure. Sure, we'll get to that. Just let me,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
then
yeah.
before, wait,
Yeah.
close that, Gregory,
Absolutely.
because I want to, in the two HTML text, did you map that out? No, to the two
Um,
HTML text two. No, that's set, but you have to pass that data to the two HTML text,
okay.
or you're adding it to the string builder in any way. There's a
Append it to string builder, right? That's the next one is
yeah, but there's a one
append
where
HTML line.
no append text.
Oh, just append text. Okay.
Yeah, because lines is just making it like pressing enter multiple times.
I see.
Like
So we'll add
appending
that
text means
in,
like add this text.
and then we'll add our
HTML
HTML
text.
test. There it is.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Okay.
then okay, and so then you have it then debug it and see what the HTML thing is on the append to. Because that makes sense. Then go to HTML2 because we got to see what comes out of that. And then move to the right. Okay, so maybe I spoke too soon because that seems right that it does do that.
Class table.
Now do HTML to PDF on this. Because then it looks like you could do that, Marvin. And that's what I was trying to confirm if I was incorrect in my assertion, and it looks like I was. And then just say, I would say like this is a test.pdf or something.
Exactly what I did.
Yep, exactly. And then on the done path, Gregory, add like a download, show download. Because what you should see is some type of PDF that downloads in a table format of name, ad, or whatever you had, so that you can do like, like if I have to output an invoice, this is how I do it. Because then the PDF, I got all the styling I need, and I just send it in.
I gotcha. I'm actually gonna do it in a form just to see if it like downloads it automatically upon click or display. So let's
Well, just do download on click. All we need to do is just we're trying to confirm is does the file output in the correct way, right?
okay.
We can work on fancy like it displays in the form later, but it's just does that download in and is the data there?
That's good. And then all right, let's give it a
No.
try.
Yeah. All right, it's working. It's working. Let's try. I'm gonna take a wee bit. All right, cool. Now just download file.
All right,
Let's see what it looks like.
opening it up. I'm dragging it over.
So that's missing the table, is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
So you're wanting the borders on that?
No, I don't necessarily need the borders. I just need to,
Because that has the data.
yes, that has the data. All right, well, let's go back and look and see what you did for just a minute. This
Sure.
that's
Well, before could we do one more test? And
sure,
can you
absolutely.
Gregory, remove your setting of assume HTML,
Yep, sure thing.
and I want to see if that actually changes it. Like you could have just set it to false, but that's fine. And then now,
Downloading.
yeah.
And moving it over. That didn't do anything.
Okay, so then that you don't have to worry about assume HTML. Okay, now Marvin, what's the specific thing you'd like to drill down? Because it looks like we got it to work.
All right, do me a favor and take out what I don't need here.
Yep, sounds good. So we need to create string builder. Got the data coming in here. This isn't doing anything. Append HTML, that's our line here that we're adding. I don't think we need that line. Create data too. We could merge these as one create data. That's our HTML that's being created right here. Appending text, HTML text over here to HTML, puts out the string, and then we have HTML to PDF, which is coming from the to HTML2.
Yeah,
So I
and
think
so
these
it's
are
those
necessary.
3 middle steps that I want to take a look at. Yeah, I've got HTML to PDF. That's no big deal. From there down, I got it. It's just
So these are the two then. So we're appending the text.
Do you need the create data 2 step? I don't think you need that one.
That has the HTML.
Isn't it on the append text as well? Click on append text.
No, we're getting it from here.
Oh,
we
just
can
put
just
it.
do it in append text.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what append text is for. It's an unnecessary step. You can just copy the data. Ooh, or that works too. I was gonna say you could copy it and paste it.
The table I made was kind of weird. I just wanted to start from scratch. That's all.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Because I think I'd accidentally put a table inside of a table, which is not what I wanted to do.
Got it. Okay.
All right, there we go.
And then, so all you really need to do is those two things. Then append text, yeah.
Yep. And that's what the HTML gets put into here.
And then HTML. So I do however many append text lines I need.
You're using append line?
Well, no, wait a minute, let's see. Append text 1, that's adding expand the step information there at the top, please.
Right here?
At the top. Step information and the properties above inputs.
I got you.
I just want to append text. Okay. And so that's just gonna now you can close it back. I just wanted to see what that is. All right, that's gonna take whatever you put in the text to add, it's gonna add it to the string builder. And I do those however many times I want to. And then the final step would be to HTML. Well, all right, and screen print.
So let's add another one. Let's add another append text and we'll see how they stack up with each other. This will be append text 2. We're going to pick the same stream builder as before.
If you're curious on how it stacks, like do the test. This is a great test.
Yeah,
I believe how it should do, like I said, could be outdated because I was wrong about the other one. Is I think it will, whatever it hits first, that will be the top part of the page. Like it's gonna
sure,
build it from top to bottom, is what I'm saying.
right. That works. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah,
Oh, I should have
believe
just,
that's correct.
whoops,
Oh, that's fine.
I have-
Hey,
my
it's
bad.
Yeah.
proof of concept. We don't have to be
Yeah, stick
exact.
figure's fine. We don't need to paint the Mona Lisa.
Yeah.
There we go. All right, so that should get added. That should get added in the entire thing. Converted to that. Let's give it a test. All right, downloading file. And got it, and I'm dragging it over.
Nice.
Yep. So every append, it looks like it is adding it at the bottom because I put this one before
Yeah.
our first append.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what I thought. So from top to bottom is where it would do. So any subsequence will just go wherever, that's out.
Okay. All right. I think that's kind of what I want to do. Let me just go back and gander at it one more time right quick.
Sure.
And
Absolutely. I'm gonna exit the debugger.
because yeah, so I guess I would need to play with the table properties because actually what would happen in my case would be I would have one append text that's had added the name. Another
Alright.
append text that would add street 1. Another conditional append text that adds street 2 and so forth and so on till I get through all the data.
Sure.
So I'm hoping that it will.
How are you building it? Is it just like if then statements, like if the character length
Well,
of
a lot
address
of
is?
it, a lot
yeah.
of it will be included, but there are a few cases where not every row of information from the flow structure would be included. It would just be dependent,
Correct. Yeah. Have you ever thought about like, rule set, and then the rule set just outputs the text in the HTML format that you need, and then you just combine the HTML together, and then you just pass that into the HTML to PDF step?
Now you just went over my head.
So in the rule sets, no worries, man.
Yep.
This is
Yeah,
what
I've
this is
done rule
for.
sets about
We're
6,
lunching
8,
and
12
learning.
months ago, one time in training, and I don't remember, what is that?
I love it, man.
I
I
know
love
they
it.
exist.
I love it. Yeah, so basically you can combine a series of rules together. And I'll send you, we've created some better content over this, so let me just get that from our YouTube channel.
Okay,
That could help you like kind of refresh your over rule sets, because I think, like you said, it is a while, and as you know, in decisions there's a lot of stuff,
yeah,
right? So all right. Oh, perfect. Yeah, we got this
I'm
nice
gonna
one right
create an
here.
address 3. We're gonna make 2 of them.
All right, I've pasted that in the chat. So what you're gonna see here, let's see, and then let's see, everyone.
Oh, I need to set
Send
some
this
kind
to
of
everyone.
input, don't I? Hold on. So
Yeah,
let me,
well, just set it up as account. It doesn't have to be like, just say account. So
Yep.
basically, Marvin, you can imagine this is like your flow structure type, whatever
Right.
it is. And then you can have a series of rules that run that say, hey, check the character length of the address. If it's greater than 3, then yes, I want that added. And then the output of that rule set would be string text. You don't have to you don't have to craft a rule that does anything, Gregory. You can just pause right there.
Yeah.
I'll just close out and save this. And then you can just craft rules saying, hey, I want to evaluate whether something has certain properties. And then what you can do is go ahead and go to the inputs, Gregory, of or actually, I'm sorry, go to the settings to the cogwheel to the right.
Mhm.
Then what you can do is, instead of setting up as a Boolean value, you can set up as a data return for your rules. So basically, if I evaluate whether that address is the character length that I need, and because it is, I want to add it, Therefore, I can have the rule set just output that HTML formatted string for me, whether it be a TR, whatever, or table
Mhm.
data. You can output that HTML. This makes it nice and dynamic. Because then whatever rules run, it's going to output your HTML, and then all you have to do is have a flow that's 2 steps: a rule set and HTML to PDF, and then you just, and then it can generate the PDF. So if you can go in the save this and go into the rule, Gregory,
Yep.
and
Right over here.
yeah, or no, not the control rule. Just go
Add a rule to
yeah,
it.
just add a rule. Evaluation doesn't rule one's fine. It doesn't have to say anything intelligent. And then notice that obviously you know how to craft a rule, Marvin, but see how the outcome data on the bottom part,
Mhm.
right? So what I can say is like, hey, if this runs true, I want to go ahead and just like output, like a generic HTML tag or like whatever it is. Like, yeah. Like, obviously imagine like that's your data, like it's table data, then you have the value you want to place from your flow structure in there. And you do this for all the rules in this rule set. And then once it runs, it just outputs that information to the HTML to PDF. And then all you have to do is if you have new things you want to add, you just add more to the rule set. It's going to be more scalable. You can audit it better to know like what rules ran. So that's an idea on how I think I might potentially approach it.
I won't say that went over my head, but I,
Let me give you a little bit of a brief overview on how this rule set is functioning, because it
how
looks
would
like there
I,
are rules inside of rules here,
how would
right?
I implement that? Say like in the previous step. I mean, in our previous example, let's say I had that create data step. Then how would I use that and this together?
So what you do is you set up the inputs that this entire rule set is going to check against. So this would be all the information that you were setting up in your create data step. You could just pass it in directly here. I just said as a count, but this could be your first name, last
Yeah.
name, address, or you
Go
could
ahead.
put in your flow object here, right?
Go ahead and set the account to the actual account type, Gregory, because I think that will make it more clear. So this is just the account type, right? Close and save this.
Yep.
And then let's go back into that rule. So now I could say is the account email starts with J for whatever, right? Email address start with J, right?
Okay.
And then what I could say, oh, okay, yes, if it starts with J, perfect. And then now go to the true section and go hit edit, right? And then I can do merge HTML right here and then edit it. Exactly. And then just, whatever, do the table that you did, Gregory,
Yep.
right? And then you can just say email. And then put in my email address below that, or put in the email from that. Perfect. See, so then we'll do that. And now it's in a table format. And so now you have a bunch of those rules that will output that. And then you just send that to your HTML to PDF. So it eliminates all the append text and all that stuff that you need, because you can just say, okay, I'm going to add those rules. And then all you have to do is then it will out, we can test it out, but I think it should output that HTML for you. And then you can just combine that together. Did that kind of clarify, or is it still money?
Sorta, I'm still out in left field, but I mean, not completely. How would
Okay.
I say, because see, I've already got all that information in a flow structure. So I would pass that in, AKA the account.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Or just the
And
flow
I
structure type.
would, and each field within that flow structure might have some condition here.
Exactly. Now you can use the rule to craft it.
Right. And how would I go about executing that rule within a step? Isn't there a run rule or something? Or,
Yeah,
So it's a run rule set in this one.
Mhm.
You have a here. Let me go back to give you a visual on this.
yeah.
So in our string builder one, you have run rule, which is the standard one. If you do
Right.
rule set, what
Uh-huh.
that does is it runs the entirety of that structure that, why do you look like, oh, it's an annotation. Okay, so run rule set over here. You pick the rule set that we're running. We only have one of them right here, a conditional rule set. You pass in your flow structure into here, right?
Yes.
Or whatever information you're passing in, and it will execute those set of rules based upon those conditions. how these conditions work for this rule set in particular is that there's something called a set control at the top. This evaluates whether any other rules inside of this folder are going to execute. So for example, let's say that you get to address line 2 and it's past a certain length. It starts doing these, right? Let's say it's past 28 or something. Let's say for address line 3 to execute, it has to be past 56. All right.
Okay.
So if our set control for address line 3 is not past 56, it won't run any of the other rules inside of this folder. So it only executes the set of rules that match this criteria at the top for each folder.
So yeah, so it's just organizing like which rules to run. That's basically what that does. It's just
And
organizing
I
it.
don't remember, can you force the order of these things to run?
I think you can move them around with a category. So there's like a category order or a set order that you can move those rules around, I believe. We'd have to confirm that, but
Yeah,
you
we can
could.
check that.
Because if I can't guarantee the order of the fields, this is useless.
You can't guarantee why, because would you
Because-
still evaluate the data regardless?
Well, not every field is conditional. I mean, some fields will be displayed no matter what.
Right.
So then, yeah. So then in the rule set, you can have general rules that run regardless of your conditions.
And
That
I
no
need-
matter what you do, they're always going to run those 5.
and if I can ensure the order, in other words, let's say for instance, I'm always going to have the name, okay?
Sure.
And then straight address 1 will always be there, but
Sure.
2, 3, and 4 may not. And
Sure.
then I have 25 other pieces of information that need to follow in some particular order.
Mhm.
And I need to be listed the same order, the same way every time. You don't want to have the name at the bottom of your report. That's the reason I'm asking about
Mhm.
you force the order of the way this data is built.
Sure. Okay, I understand where you're going. So you could, I don't think it would sort the data in that way. I think what you could do is if there's a certain way you want the data to sort, I think
I
you
don't
could
want it to
do.
sort. I just want it to list in a
Mhm.
anticipated way.
Right.
And
Correct.
I'm saying that with just some rule to decide whether to show some data or not.
Well, I think,
One piece of information off a structure.
yeah, I think you're correct. And I think I misunderstood what the ask was. I thought you wanted to execute different rules at different times, which you can do. But you're saying, how do I make sure that I present the data in the same way every time? That's more meaningful to end users. Is that correct?
Right.
Yeah, and that
Right.
I think you could do that outside of this rule set. I don't think you could do it here. What you would have to do there is you could use a sort array step or a sort, another type of sort outside of the rule set. But that wouldn't be done here.
It's
I believe.
almost, no offense, it sounds like overkill for, as opposed to just using an if, true false.
Sure. Sure.
And just append text. Go
Sure.
through each of the pieces of information in the flow structure, and then when I get to the one that is conditional, I check whatever condition it is, and I display it or not. But okay.
Sure. I mean, I think to your point, just having a connection of true false rules, or is equal, or is this text contain this, true. And then append this text, true, then append this text, true, append. That's easier to understand because you can visually see that. The rule set just shoves that collection into one step called the run rule set, and then it would output that data to save you processing power. Because now instead of having to manage multiple rules, actually not processing power, but instead of the management of multiple rules in multiple locations, you can now maintain the rule set in case the data changes. Like someone says, hey, I want it sorted this, or I want it not sorted. I want it to have this new property added, let's say.
Yeah.
Then you'd have to you go to the flow, create a new rule, add a new stuff. You have to do all this work. Vice here, you just add one more rule and then you're done.
Well, I tell you what, let's take this offline possibly.
Sure.
And if there are other questions, let folks go ahead.
Sure. Do
I
you
don't
have
want to take up the whole.
Yeah. Do you have time after the lunch and learn? Because I don't mind getting on a call with you and you can share your screen and we can start like architecting things.
Not today. I'll
Okay.
get back with you when
Okay.
I'm
Just email me directly at jared@decisions.com.
here. Okay.
I'll put my email in the chat. But yeah,
Sorry.
just whenever you want to, I don't mind taking a look at your thing and I could probably recommend better since I'm actually seeing what you're seeing. You know,
Right.
because you have the better view than I do.
All right. Well, at least I can come up with something, hopefully, with what we've got so far. And then if
Mhm.
we can fine tune it later, that'd be
Okay.
good too, you know?
Gotcha. Sounds good.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Cool, cool. Thank you for hopping in there. Alrighty. Well, I will say for us being here 30 minutes, we have not had a single question posted to the Q&A so far. So I'm gonna start showing off some stuff with version 9.15 because that's what I'm on right now. And if we don't get any additional questions by the time I'm done doing that, we're just gonna call it early. All right, so let's hop out of here. I've been working on some stuff with 9.15. I haven't mastered all of it yet, but there is some pretty cool stuff that's coming. For example, this one I like a lot. If you have a report that is grouped in some manner, doesn't matter what field it's grouped on, you have an option in the group options to be able to check this called show, expand, collapse action in headers, which is kind of a mouthful, but what it lets you do at runtime is you get this little checkbox that you didn't have before, or I guess not checkbox, but it's an additional action. The moment I click this, it will immediately collapse all group headers or expand all of them. I don't have to go and manually do that if I want to view what these groupings are. So this has been a nice little improvement that's been added to Decisions version 9.15. That'll be coming out here soon. But yeah, still working on some of the other ones. We have the content drawer as well that's getting added. I haven't done a lot on that yet, so I don't have something ready to display there. But another cool feature over here is we got flex layout on pages now. So you don't just have to design forms with it anymore. You can use it to work with your dashboards. So if I were to, for example, run, where are we? Yeah, there we go. So this content over here is actually going to change its layout based upon however much space it has. This is just kind of a demo. This isn't prettied up, but hopefully that at least gives an idea of the kind of stuff that you can do now. And that also includes anything that you would do with like a flow run part inside of here. If that affects data that would change the size of it, you could have that dynamically update as well inside of this dashboard. So you have that option coming to 9.15. I really hope that on Wednesday I have something to show for the content drawer. Very cool new feature. And we do have another question. When done within active form flow, how do I check the trigger component type of type form trigger type? Looks like a list of some sort. Marvin, let me address that question just a moment because they had a very quick question from Grant, which is
Oh, yeah, I can wait.
nine?
Absolutely.
Oh, you're good. It's just the question is will 9.15 be available later in the month? That is the plan. It's scheduled for release this week, but we will see when that is officially released to the public. But I will say that it's looking likely that it should be available pretty soon. And that's going to include, like I mentioned, that content drawer thing, which I don't have a good example of right now. It's a really cool feature. It just takes a little bit to build out. So hopefully I'll have something ready for that on Wednesday. Okay. So now, Marvin, let's see here. How do I check the trigger component type? Let me go back to our lunch and learn here. Trigger component type in active form flow. So when you're saying trigger component type, if I recall what you're talking about, in the Data Explorer, you have this over here, right? Display name and value. So you want to be able to check what this is where.
right there within the active form flow. In other words, I want to know, I mean, I know I can check the component name, but I was just curious if I wanted to try and use the component type, how would I go about doing that? I mean, how do I reference that? I guess maybe I was up too late and my eyes were crossed and
No, you're good. You're good. I haven't touched this much. So let's see if we can figure this out. We're just gonna map it in and we're gonna see what happens. Simplest way to do it. Let's save these, exit, figure out where the data is coming from, flow data. Save, save. Okay, I want this to trigger when I click an event button. Get a global debugger out. The hell? Oh, okay, cool. All right. Oh, look at this. They updated the UI on this too. All right, so let's turn this on. We're gonna run this. What did I do? Oh,
oops.
yeah, there we go. Pentex. Why are you all yelling at me? I know you're fine. There we go. Let's try this again. Display name is click and the value is click. So
Okay.
component type to click. Interesting.
And that's kind of what I anticipated. As opposed to using the trigger name where if you run it on startup, it's like a null or something like that. And
Let's run it twice.
see, you should have had two if you ran it on startup.
No, pardon me. Yeah, so on startup, same sort of thing, except
All right.
display is null and the value is null. So I'm guessing I'm thinking display name is probably what the end user sees, but it is interesting that value remains null with this as well, as far as what
All right,
actually triggers it.
let me see what you did with create data. How you reference in the actual active form flow, not the debugger.
Yeah, sure thing. All I did was pass that into create data.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to see what you display.
Yep,
Make
and
the
I just took
properties
it.
a little bigger or click that. That'll work.
Absolutely, there you go.
Oh, I love it when we can do that. All right, so trigger type and yeah, because I was trying to look for an object or something but called trigger component type and all that. Okay. All right.
Yeah, it'd
I
be
see,
better
I
just
see
to
what you
map the
did now.
properties.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't think trying to map in the specific trigger component type would be the best. It'd probably just be better to pull which field you need from it in this case.
Right. That makes sense. That works for me. That's all I need. Thank you.
Cool. Absolutely. All right. I think with that being said, we're going to wrap this up. We have no further questions in the Q&A. So thank you all very much for attending. And it should be Jeremy leading the charge tomorrow. See y'all later.